Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that the very thing you're doing right now to get your ex back is actually pushing them further away? What if I told you that the secret to making them chase you again has nothing to do with texting them, begging or proving your love? See, most people, when they lose someone, they panic. They go into desperation mode. They send the I miss you texts, they check their ex's social media, they wonder what they're doing, who they're with. And that energy, it's repelling. But what if, instead of chasing, you became the one who was chased? The power of letting go. You need to understand this. Attraction isn't about forcing someone to be with you. It's about creating a pull so strong they can't resist. And that pull is created when you let go. Because the moment you stop clinging, the moment you stop waiting, and instead you focus on you, that's when the magic happens. Self-transformation is the key. You see, your ex didn't just leave you because of a single fight or disagreement. No, they walked away because in their eyes something was missing. But here's the good news. You have the power to change that. Not by convincing them, not by chasing them, but by becoming so damn irresistible that they start questioning everything. Think about this. Why do people suddenly regret losing someone? It's when they see that person growing, glowing, and evolving without them. So the one thing that makes 99% of exes come back, massive self-improvement. Master your emotions. Most people react emotionally after a breakup. They let pain, sadness, and loneliness control their actions. But here's what high-value people do. They control their emotions, not the other way around. You want your ex to see you as someone they lost, not someone who lost them. The moment you shift your mindset from, I need them back, to I am the prize, the game changes. The high-value mindset. Listen, if you act like your ex is the last person on earth who could love you, you give away all your power. But when you start living like you're the one in demand, you become magnetic. When you upgrade your life, physically, emotionally, financially, your ex starts wondering, did I make a mistake? And that's when they start chasing. Scarcity versus abundance. People don't chase what's always available, they chase what's rare. So if you're always waiting for their text, always ready to meet them, always checking their Instagram, they feel no urgency to come back. But when you become scarce, when you're out there living your best life, meeting new people, focus on your mission, that's when their mind starts racing. Wait, are they moving on? Are they happier without me? The answer is when they start to chase. Purpose over person. At the end of the day, the most attractive thing in the world is a person on a mission. Your ex isn't coming back because you want them to. They'll come back when they realize they might have lost someone extraordinary. So stop making them the center of your universe. Make yourself the center. Build your body, your mind, your career, your happiness. Because when you do, they won't just come back. They'll chase you. Final thought. You don't win someone back by convincing them. You win them back by becoming someone they can't resist losing. So the question is, are you going to stay the same or are you going to step into your power? Because the moment you do, they will feel it. And when they do, they will chase you. Let's go. When a relationship ends, the first instinct for most people is to try and hold on. They call, they text, they try to remind their ex of the good times, hoping that somehow, some way, they can convince them to come back. But this is where most people get it wrong. Attraction doesn't work through force. It works through energy. And when you're in a state of desperation, that energy is repelling. Think about it. Have you ever had someone pursue you so intensely that it actually made you less interested? It's not that they were a bad person, but something about their neediness made you feel like they weren't a challenge. This is exactly what happens when you chase an ex. The more you try to hold on, the more they pull away. And that's because deep down, people don't want to feel trapped. They want to feel drawn in naturally. Letting go is the most counterintuitive yet powerful thing you can do after a breakup. Because when you stop trying to control the situation, you start to control yourself. And that changes everything. Attraction is all about mystery, unpredictability, and emotional independence. When you constantly reach out to your ex, when you post sad quotes on social media, when you make it obvious that you're struggling without them, you remove that mystery. You confirm their belief that leaving you was the right decision. But when you disappear, when you step back and focus on your own life instead of theirs, you create space. And in that space, something powerful happens. Your ex starts wondering about you. Human nature is wired to desire what it can't have. The moment someone feels like they might be losing something valuable, their mind starts to rethink everything. This is why some of the most powerful moments in relationships happen in silence. When you stop texting them, they start to notice your absence. When they don't see you watching their stories, they start to wonder what you're up to. When they hear from mutual friends that you're thriving, not hurting, they begin to question if they made a mistake. But none of this happens if you're constantly in their space, trying to remind them of what you had. You have to let them feel what life is like without you. And more importantly, you need to let yourself feel what life is like without them. Because here's the truth. You don't just need them to miss you. You need to rediscover yourself. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. It means you understand that real attraction isn't about clinging to someone, but about being so strong in yourself that they can't help but be drawn back. Imagine for a moment that you completely shifted your focus from them to you. Imagine you started waking up every day with a purpose beyond trying to fix a broken relationship. You hit the gym, you build your business, you start going out, meeting new people, and truly enjoying life. What happens then? Suddenly, you're not just the same person they walked away from. You've evolved. And when they see that, they realize you've let go and moved forward. They begin to feel something they didn't expect: regret. Because here's the irony. When you no longer need someone, that's when they start to need you. When you release the attachment, you regain the power. And when you live your life fully without them, they'll feel the difference. The power of letting go is real. It's not about manipulation. It's about understanding that the strongest force in attraction isn't trying to prove your worth. It's knowing your worth and acting accordingly. The moment you embody that, everything changes. Most people think that getting an ex back is about saying the right words, sending the perfect text, or proving how much you care. But the truth is, words mean nothing if your actions don't back them up. If you want someone to see you differently, you have to become different. That's where self-transformation comes in. When a relationship ends, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Something in the dynamic shifted. Maybe you became too complacent. Maybe you stopped growing, or maybe the energy between you both just faded. Whatever the reason, the person they walked away from is not the person they want to come back to. But here's the key. You don't have to stay that version of yourself. You have the power to change, to evolve, and to become someone they can't ignore. Self-transformation isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about leveling up in every way possible. It's about looking in the mirror and asking yourself, what areas of my life have I been neglecting? Have I been taking care of my body? Have I been pursuing my passions? Have I been living with purpose, or have I been coasting? When you start answering those questions honestly, you realize that this breakup isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about the first step in self-transformation is shifting your focus away from your ex and back onto yourself. Instead of obsessing over what they're doing, start investing in what you are doing. Get in the best shape of your life, not because you want to impress them, but because confidence is magnetic. Pursue the things that excite you because passion makes you more attractive. Develop skills, build your career, expand your social circle, because the more well-rounded you become, the more naturally appealing you are. When you transform, people notice. Your energy changes, your presence becomes different. You walk into a room with a sense of purpose, and suddenly, the way people respond to you shifts, and that includes your ex. Because the truth is, people don't miss the past. They miss the feeling they once had. When they see you becoming a stronger, happier, more fulfilled version of yourself, they start to feel a pull, not because you told them to, but because it's undeniable. But here's the most powerful part. By the time they start to notice, you might not even want them back anymore. Because in the process of leveling up, you realize that the version of yourself who was stuck in the past, waiting for someone else's approval, was holding you back. You've stepped into a new reality, one where you no longer need someone to validate you. And ironically, that's when they start to chase. Self-transformation is about becoming so strong in who you are that you never have to convince anyone to be with you. It's about knowing that your value isn't determined by someone else's opinion, but by your own growth. When you embrace that, you don't just get an X back, you get your power back. And once you have that, everything else follows. After a breakup, emotions run high. One moment you feel anger, the next sadness, then a wave of nostalgia hits, making you second guess everything. This emotional roller coaster is normal, but the way you handle it determines everything. Most people react impulsively. They send long texts pouring out their feelings. They call late at night, hoping to hear a familiar voice. They stalk their ex's social media, looking for clues about what they're doing and who they're with. But these reactions don't bring someone back, they push them further away. Emotional control is the difference between being seen as someone who is desperate versus someone who is desirable. The moment you let your emotions dictate your actions, you give your power away. And nothing is more unattractive than someone who appears unstable, lost, or needy. On the other hand, when you master your emotions, you become someone who radiates confidence and strength. That shift alone can make an ex reconsider everything. Mastering emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means processing them in a way that serves you instead of sabotaging you. When you feel the urge to react, to send a text, to check their social media, to seek closure, you have to pause and ask yourself, is this action moving me forward or pulling me back? Most of the time, the answer is clear. Acting on impulse rarely leads to a positive outcome. Instead, it keeps you stuck in the past, unable to grow. The key is to redirect your emotional energy into something productive. Instead of texting your ex, hit the gym and train your body. Instead of replaying old memories, start a new hobby or challenge that demands your focus. Instead of seeking comfort in their words, seek strength in your own. When you do this, you start breaking the cycle of emotional dependence. You stop reacting to life and start controlling how you respond to it. One of the most powerful things you can do is become unshakable. Imagine running into your ex and being completely unaffected. No bitterness, no desperation, no sadness, just a calm, confident presence. That kind of energy is rare and it's magnetic. When your ex sees that you're not drowning in emotions, that you're thriving instead of suffering, they start to wonder if they misjudged you. Emotional control also helps you gain clarity. When emotions run unchecked, they cloud your judgment. They make you believe you need your ex to be happy when, in reality, your happiness was always within your control. When you step back and master your emotions, you begin to see the situation for what it really is. Not through the lens of pain, but through the perspective of growth. You recognize what worked in the relationship, what didn't, and most importantly, what you need to change to become the best version of yourself. That transformation doesn't just benefit you, it shifts the dynamic entirely. Because when someone sees that you are no longer emotionally dependent on them, they start to question everything. They start to wonder how you became so strong, so focused, so in control. And that curiosity, that admiration, is what makes them feel drawn to you again. At the end of the day, emotional control is about choosing power over weakness. It's about understanding that you can't control what happens to you. You can always control how you respond. And when you master that, you become more attracted to others, but you also become unstoppable in every area of your life. Most people don't realize that the way they see themselves determines how others see them. After a breakup, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-doubt, questioning your worth, and wondering if you were good enough. But here's the truth. If you don't believe in your own value, neither will anyone else, including your ex. This is why developing a high-value mindset is crucial. A high-value mindset isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about truly understanding that you are a person of worth, with or without your ex. Too often, people make the mistake of putting their ex on a pedestal, acting as if they lost the best thing that ever happened to them. But that energy of neediness and lack only pushes the other person further away. Instead, the key is to become someone who doesn't just know their value, but who lives in a way that reflects it. When you develop a high value mindset, you stop chasing, you stop seeking validation, you stop basing your happiness on someone else's approval. You shift your focus away from what you lost and start focusing on what you bring to the table. And when you do that, something incredible happens. People take notice. Your energy changes. You carry yourself differently. You become the kind of person who is naturally attractive, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because confidence and self-respect are magnetic. Think about it. Who do people admire? Who do they want to be around? It's not the person who is desperate for attention. It's not the person who is constantly seeking reassurance. It's the one who is secure in themselves, the one who knows their worth, the one who walks into a room and commands respect without having to say a word. That's what makes someone high value. Developing this mindset means setting boundaries and refusing to accept less than you deserve. It means not tolerating disrespect, not settling for breadcrumbs of attention, and not waiting around for someone who doesn't see your worth. When you start respecting yourself on a deep level, other people, including your ex, begin to respect you too. One of the biggest shifts happens when you stop seeing your ex as the prize and start seeing yourself as the prize. Instead of thinking, how can I get them back? You start thinking, do they even deserve me at my best? This change in perspective alters the entire dynamic. When you believe you are valuable, others start to believe it too. Another key to a high value mindset is abundance. People with this mindset don't operate from a place of fear. They don't think, I'll never find someone like my ex again. Instead, they understand that life is full of possibilities, that there are countless opportunities, relationships, and experiences waiting for them. When you embody this belief, you naturally become more attractive because you're not clinging to one person for your happiness. And here's the irony. When your ex sees that you've elevated yourself, when they realize that you're no longer the same person they walked away from, they start to second guess their decision. They start to wonder if they underestimated you. And that's when they start to feel the pull. Not because you manipulated them, not because you played games, but because your high value energy is undeniable. At the end of the day, people are drawn to those who value themselves. When you truly embrace your worth, you don't need to convince anyone to be with you. They will naturally gravitate towards you. And even if your ex doesn't return, you will become the kind of person who attracts something even better. One of the biggest mistakes people make after a breakup is isolating themselves. They sit alone, replaying memories, stalking their ex's social media, and dwelling on everything that went wrong. This mindset keeps them stuck in the past and reinforces the belief that their happiness was dependent on that one relationship. But here's the truth. The more you shrink your world, the smaller you become. If you want to regain your power and make your ex take notice, you have to do the opposite. You need to expand your life. Expanding your life means stepping outside of your comfort zone, diving into new experiences, and creating a life that excites you. When you do this, you naturally shift your energy from being someone who is lost without their ex to someone who is thriving. And that kind of energy is magnetic. It draws people in. Not just your ex, but everyone around you. Think about it. When you were in the relationship, what parts of yourself did you neglect? Did you stop going to the gym? Did you lose touch with old friends? Did you put your dreams on hold? Now is the time to reclaim all of that and more. Instead of focusing on what you lost, focus on what you can gain. Join a new fitness class. Take up a hobby you've always been curious about. Start traveling or immerse yourself in work and passion projects. Not only does this make you a more interesting and fulfilled person, but it also sends a powerful message. You are not waiting for anyone to complete you. Expanding your social circle is another crucial part of this process. Surrounding yourself with new and positive people brings fresh energy into your life. Go out with friends, meet new people, and engage in conversations that stimulate you. Not because you need distractions, but because building strong connections is a fundamental part of a fulfilling life. When your ex sees that you are out enjoying yourself, that you are not sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, they begin to wonder, changed. And more importantly, they start to feel like they are the ones missing out. Another powerful way to expand your life is to set and pursue ambitious goals. Nothing is more attractive than someone who is driven, passionate, and working towards something bigger than themselves. Start a new project, chase a career goal, build something meaningful. When you are focused on growth, you don't have time to dwell on the past. And ironically, that's when the past often comes knocking at your door. Confidence is built through action. The more you do, the more capable you feel. And the more capable you feel, the more naturally attractive you become. Your ex isn't going to be drawn back to someone who is stuck in sadness and self-pity, but they will be intrigued when they see you evolving, expanding, and embracing life fully. Because deep down, people are attracted to those who embody strength, resilience, and purpose. The beauty of expanding your life is that it puts you in a position where you no longer need your ex to come back. By the time they start noticing your transformation, you might not even want them anymore. And that's the real power. You've grown so much that their presence is no longer a necessity, just an option. At the end of the day, the best way to make someone regret losing you is to live a life so full, so exciting, and so fulfilling that they can't help but wonder why they ever let you go. And when you reach that point, you'll realize that you never needed them to begin with. One of the most powerful yet overlooked aspects of making an ex regret leaving is mastering the art of unpredictability. Most people after a breakup become entirely predictable. Their ex knows exactly what they're going to do. Constant texting, emotional outbursts, attempts to rekindle the past. This predictability makes them easy to ignore. But when you introduce unpredictability into the equation, everything changes. Human nature craves excitement and mystery. People are drawn to things that make them curious, things that are unexpected and keep them engaged. This is why relationships often lose their spark. The more predictable someone becomes, the less exciting they feel. And the same principle applies after a breakup. If your ex thinks they have you figured out, they won't feel compelled to rethink their decision. But when you break the pattern, when you start doing things they don't expect, they begin to wonder. And that curiosity can be incredibly powerful. The first step in becoming unpredictable is breaking old habits. If you were always the one to reach out, stop. If you were constantly liking their posts or watching their stories, disappear. If they expect you to be sad and struggling, prove them wrong by thriving. When they notice your absence, it creates a gap in their mind. And in that gap, they start questioning, what's going on? Why aren't they chasing me? Are they moving on? Have they found someone new? Unpredictability also means changing your life in ways they never saw coming. Maybe during the relationship, you were hesitant to take risks or step outside your comfort zone. Now is the time to do exactly that. Start a new hobby, change your style, travel to new places, or accomplish a goal they never thought you would. The key is to become someone they don't recognize anymore in the best way possible. This makes them wonder if they made a mistake. One of the most effective ways to create unpredictability is through social proof. This doesn't mean trying to make them jealous in an obvious way that can come across as forced or desperate. Instead, it's about naturally showing that you are thriving, surrounded by great people, and living an exciting life. When your ex sees you happy, confident, and surrounded by new experiences, it disrupts their expectations. They thought you would be lost without them. Instead, you're better than ever. Another key to unpredictability is being emotionally detached from the outcome. When you no longer react the way they expect, you shift the power dynamic. If they reach out and you respond in a cool, confident, and nonchalant manner, without any emotional heaviness, they'll feel the difference. If they try to test you, expecting you to fall back into old patterns, but you remain unaffected, they'll start questioning everything. This is where the real magic happens. When they don't know where they stand with you, they begin to seek validation. They start looking for signs that you still care, that you still want them. And the more they wonder, the more they start chasing. Because now the dynamic has flipped. You are the one in control. Becoming unpredictable doesn't mean playing games or manipulating emotions. It means refusing to be placed in a box. It means evolving into a version of yourself that is constantly growing, constantly surprising, and constantly moving forward. And when you do that, your ex won't just notice. They'll feel the shift. And more often than not, they'll come running back, trying to figure out how they let someone like you go. The power to make an ex chase you doesn't lie in desperation, manipulation, or chasing them back. It lies in you, your ability to grow, evolve, and live your best life, regardless of what's happening in your relationship with them. By letting go, mastering your emotions, developing a high-value mindset, expanding your life, and becoming unpredictable, you shift the power dynamic in a way that attracts them without needing to. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, not only do you regain your strength, but you also become a magnet for those who see your worth. And the irony is, once you reach that point, you may find that you no longer need or want them to come back. You've become someone who doesn't just survive a breakup, but thrives beyond it. Someone who is strong, confident, and irresistible. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can do after a breakup is to focus on your own growth, knowing that the right people will be drawn to that, and those who left will wonder how they ever let you go.